We're going on a little trip west, actually east of Viborg, and to look at some of the landscapes there. And we're in a little town called Chela. Somebody's working hard on the cemetery. But here is a picture of the buildings around the farm of Chela, which is one of Denmark's largest farms with hundreds of acres. And there's some nice old buildings there, very well maintained, and it's very interesting to see. Nearby is a pretty good sized lake, which is called Chanalong Sea, and it's very deep and pretty with its the surrounding forests. There's an old building there in the city of Aalestrup. There's a Danish American that with a wheelbarrow and a shovel build a world map in the end of the lake there. And so now you can walk from one country to the other. And it's become quite well known, and a lot of people go there to look at it. And the kids learn geography there. There's a black sheep in the crowd. Very cute. And we got to a little town called Aalestrup, and there happened to be a meeting of old Volvo cars. I guess they're from the 50s. And it's right outside of a big bicycle museum, which is really why we went there. And in that museum, there's the entrance, and there's hundreds and hundreds of old bicycles, and it's very interesting to see. Some of them are quite inventive, primitive, and here's one. That was one of the first ones that came with a motor you could attach to it, and there's the old Gisela motors that they put on bicycles, and you could ride them around without a license. Now we got to Furkat, which is some buildings that's erected the way they thought that the Vikings used to live, and it's pretty interesting there. See how they build their ships, and there's an old farm buildings there that's not from the Viking age, but they still has some interesting things in it. Here's a meeting hall that I guess they think the Vikings used to build them, and here's the layout of the way they placed their buildings and lived. This is Aalestrup Sea, which is another lake. There's a number of lakes in there. They're all natural lakes and very pretty there. It's kind of cold over there. Here's a field of raps, which is a plant that's grown in the farming operations there, and it's used for oil, raps oil, that's used for cooking and other things, sort of like olive oil. Beautiful landscapes there, and here the beech trees have just come out. The light green foliage is very pretty if the sun comes in. We're now driving down to another old farm there that's called Fushing, and there was a big rock there that commemorates somebody that has something to do with the forest there. And there's also a lake there which is very deep and pretty. Fushing is another old farm there, and there's, of course, the lake again. And there used to be some old buildings in there that you just see the ruins of them now. And they were surrounded by the linden trees, which you see here. They're actually tall and beautiful. Unfortunately, some of them are blowing over now, and that's, of course, a loss to the area. Forget-me-not flowers. That's the old farm building or main house at the Fushing. It's not used right now except for storage of certain records, old records. Beautiful landscape. Walking along there into an old mill that used to be where the farmers would come with their grain and have it ground. They had a lake there and had you'll see a water wheel here now. In the old days, I was used to use the grinders that would grind the grain into. So there you see the old mill, and in these buildings, you'll see this old water wheel that used to pull the grinders so that you'd grind the grain into the feed of the animals, but also for humans to use for breakfast cereal, I guess. Now we're getting into a little town called Olam. And there's an interesting old church there that has 6 freestanding columns at the entrance. And the interesting thing is that in around Viborg, these columns, 6 columns, are 7 of the 9 found in Northern Europe is right in that area, which sort of makes you wonder if the designer of these 7 column entrances was right there. This is Jorn walking around his old homestead. That's where he was born and raised. And I was there myself on vacations when I was a young kid. And somebody bought the place and restored it and got all the walls put together and painted white with the black oak beams. That was the way they built these buildings in those days. And every year they would replace a roof, a part of the roof, which is straw and very beautiful. That was about the end of this recording, so I hope you enjoyed watching it. Thank you very much.